And welcome to day 17 of the trading series. Today, we're going to go over the second trade that was posted on April 23rd. This trade was actually placed on April 23rd, though, so just so you guys can see. And you can read along here what I posted. So if you guys are following along with the stuff like that, this is the last day that I traded the 50K live account that I had. You can see that I kind of write about it in there. But essentially, I had started the trade before, which I went over last week. That was like a 1.2 R. And I don't think I mentioned it in that video, but this was on a 50K account. So I guess to most people, that wasn't actually 1 R. That was like 2 R. But for me, I started adjusting it a little bit to more like 100-ish K account. I was kind of rounding up. But that's because my account was growing. The account was in like 70K range, and I was confident in my trades. I was already pretty close to my goal for the month, and I was like comfortable to risk a little bit more with this account. So it really was more like 2% based on the account that I was working with, the 50K size account. So just bear that in mind. It was more like 2% risk. You guys are doing your own stuff. Please do your own like personal risk management plans. Don't just like follow off my stuff blindly. You shouldn't do that. I've been doing this for long enough that for me, I can kind of like ballpark around my stuff and I'll be okay. And then use your risk calculators. Make sure that your lots and stuff like that are actually in the risk area that you want it to be. Don't just like guess it. That's a really bad idea to do. Don't ever copy somebody else's lots either. Like if you don't have the same broker as them, your lots could potentially be so different. So that's just there. So this is the last day that I was using this account, though. Like I said, I was kind of just hoping to get my like little bit of extra so I could close out this account and finish this up. I have talked about this before, and I would just like quickly mention this since I am saying that this is the last day, and I'll show you guys everything that I earned on this account and all the trades that I had already gone over in this series that are on this live account. But I have talked about this before. I treat my live accounts very similar to like a prop firm style account. I've been doing this for a while that I used to work with the prop firms where you would have to actually like withdraw your money every month. And I found that for me mentally, that worked the best in order to like stay good with my mindset and my trading psychology. And that is a whole thing in its own. Like you people can cover tons and tons of content when it comes to your trading psychology and keeping a sharp mind and making sure that you're not, swaying from your plans and stuff like that. And I found that for me personally, when I still treated my live accounts very similar to my prop firms, and I had like structure where, if I met a goal, I withdrew, I withdraw monthly for the most part. Sometimes, depending on what I made or whatever, I not, or I might push it a little bit. But for the most part, as soon as I meet my goal for the month, I take my money and I leave, and I usually reset a new one or start like something new for the next month. And I'll just, start, like I said, like I did here, 50K, maybe I'll start like 100K, and I'll start fresh with a new account for like the following month once I've met my goal. And that's just my style. Again, do whatever works for you, whatever your plan is for your risk management, you should be doing. But for me personally, that's what I do. So that's why you'll see that I write here, like I ended it, like I met my goal for the month, more than enough that I needed to make, and I was done. I don't continue to trade on my live accounts once I make my goal. I may go to like a different account or a smaller account or something like that, and I do use those, but I won't usually continue to trade on like a larger account once I make my goal. Because it's not in my plan. It messes me up. I tend to get, and I'm guilty of this too, but I tend to get a little greedy, or I tend to make riskier decisions because in my head, I'll be like, well, I already met my goal. I can be a little riskier. And it's not good for me, for my mental trading game. I know it. I know that's when I make my mistakes. So I try to stick to that. So that is just a little like blurb about how I run my stuff, why I'm like ending it here. Like, cause I know somebody will be like, why didn't you continue going? And that is why, because this is real money for me. This is what I live off of. Like, this is my primary income. So I absolutely like stop once I make my goal and I take my money, because I have a family and I have people to support. So once I make my money, I stop and I just start fresh the next month. So that way I know that I've secured a certain amount of money in my pockets and I'm good. So anyway, that is my advice to you guys. If you're somebody who struggles with some of your mindset stuff, like if you're finding that you're being a little bit greedy sometimes, that you're doing good with your rules, but then you push it once you get to a certain point, and that is my problem. I do that. If you're one of those people and that's when you make your mistakes, I highly suggest putting something in place, a structure of some sort where you're saying, hey, once I get to this point, I'm done, I'm out. It doesn't matter what's going on in the markets. I'm good for a while. And if I meet my goal a little bit earlier than I'd like, in this case, this was the 23rd of April, so it was pretty close to the end of the month. But if I meet my goal a little bit earlier, I'll do things I'll switch to different accounts. You can see here, I was moving to my futures accounts that I had kind of worked with earlier in the month. I went back to those towards the end to show them a little bit of love. Sometimes I'll switch to a smaller account that I'm working with, something like that, and then maybe building something up. So I'll still keep myself busy in the market if I'm having, a month where I end a little earlier. But the bigger account where I'm leaving off of that money and that's my bread and butter type of account, I will stop that because I said, I will get tempted to potentially overtrade. And that's when I do see that I make more mistakes with myself, or I tend to mess myself up mentally when it comes to my trading psychology. And that's really, really hard to fix when you create bad habits. So I've learned the lesson the hard way over time. And I definitely have learned that this is the structure that works for me. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into this actual trade itself. This is a pretty good trade. I like this trade. A nice example of a clean-cut breakout from a consolidation zone. So I'm here on the NASDAQ 100. It is the 5-minute time frame. And we have a little bit of what was a bit of an uptrend that was happening the previous day. And then you had a resting period of consolidation. And this is kind of overnight too, to be fair. This was Tokyo session into London session, which tends to be a little bit slower. But that's a good time to kind of look for a breakout once the new session is opening for New York during the day. You tend to find a nice breakout sometimes. So that's what I was looking for here. I was waiting to see the market open and see what it would look like if it would break out of the consolidation area that it had been forming kind of throughout London session. And it did. So what you have is your consolidation area, and then you can see where I entered, there was a breakout of that area, and I had a previous upright smiley face. As long as your most recent smiley face is in the direction that you want your trade to go, it's still a valid smiley face, and you can still use that smiley face. And then I just did a simple 1.5 reward. I did notice, though, to the left, there was an approach, we were approaching a zone. I probably could have pushed my reward a bit more because I do believe the zone that was to the left, if I remember correctly, was somewhere in this area, which makes sense because it did sort of consolidate around that price. But I didn't go for it. I wasn't looking for it. Like I said, I was getting ready to end this account. I really just wanted to finish up this day. So a 1.5 reward, I was more than happy with. There was no need for me to push to a 1.8 or maybe even a 2 that could have been up in here. I wasn't trying to be greedy about it. I just wanted to finish out my day, meet my goal, and be done. So that is what I did here. So I got my 1.5, and that was it. My stop loss was just under the zone that we were breaking from. This is a pretty clean-cut, breakout style trade in the direction that it's been trending, which had been bullish for the previous day. And if you watch the last video I made, I talk about how there was a bit of a reversal that started happening on the 1 minute, and then that continued over the course of the rest of New York and overnight too for Tokyo and then London. So I was still going to continue with the bullish bias. I was just waiting for that breakout to be confirmed, and that happened. So that is this trade. For transparency reasons, I'm going to show you guys the full account so you can see the monthly. Started 50K, all the different days that I have already gone over in the videos are here, and it went a little fast, but I'm sure I'll go back to it at some point. But I'm just showing you daily was the 1500 that I just reviewed, weekly, and then monthly, just clicking through them all so you guys can see that all the trades that I've gone over are here, all the different days, starting, I believe it was the 4th, up until the 23rd. I had ended up profiting $21,776.75 on this account for that month. And you guys can see what the balance, like I said, I started with 50K in this account. So it ended up being a total of $71,776.75 in the account. But remember, I put in 50K. So like I was saying earlier, typically like what I will do is like withdraw the difference and then like restart over with like 50K, or maybe I'll roll it over into like another account and like have 100K or something like that. But yeah, this is a pretty good profit actually. Like this is a really nice profit actually for a 50K account. That's a really good percentage to make back in a month. A little bit over what I would want anyhow in a month. So my goal was already met. And I've been saying in the beginning, like I was good to stop this and withdraw it. So that was it for this account, but I do continue to show trades. So I will still have a couple more videos coming out over the next few weeks, wrapping up what strategy wars looked like for me for the complete month of April.